Imagine growing up supporting Arsenal and then suddenly you play in the North London derby for the first ever time and you get the first hat-trick for 47 years. It is actually crazy. You actually can't write this stuff. Welcome back to the Arsenal Humans podcast with me, Luce. I hope you're all good. I hope you're just as bubbly and smiley as I am because, honestly, full disclaimer, this whole episode, I don't think I'm going to stop smiling because there is so much to smile about at Arsenal right now. I mean, where do we even start? Where do we start? I think there's so much clarity for both the men and women. We've had such a winning week. If anyone listened or watched, however you access this podcast on Spotify or YouTube last week, you'll notice the vibe was very, very different. It was quite negative, I think, because we had some losses, we had some draws, we had some big games coming up that could dictate things, but they've all gone our way this week. So I'm just going to keep the good vibes, the good energy. I'm sorry if you don't support Arsenal because you're probably going to find this a bit annoying because I am so positive about my club, especially right now. But I do really appreciate if you don't actually support Arsenal, by the way, because I feel like there's a small percentage of you, but it helps because I feel like it also keeps me as a neutral fan of football as well. But obviously, this episode, I'm going to be singing and dancing all about Arsenal because, yeah, there's so much to talk about. And I'm going to firstly warm into this episode and calm down the vibe. Joking, I'm not calming down this vibe whatsoever. I'm literally going straight in with the warm-up poll, which is this Arsenal's year? Is this the year that Arsenal can lift that Premier League trophy? It would be amazing, wouldn't it? Okay, poll results. 87% of you said yes, 13% of you said no. And I just want to say, this is over on luce.case on Instagram, by the way. And I just want to say that basically all my followers that don't support Arsenal voted for no. So, yeah, we've got a lot of Arsenal haters here. I'm going to have to agree with the poll because I think for me, it's this year. It's got to be this year. Everything that Arteta has done over the last few years, he's been building up to this moment. He's been creating this team. The fact that, obviously I'm going to go into more detail in a bit, but the fact that we didn't even have a striker on the pitch in that North London derby, but what Arteta has created is so good. The link-ups, the squad depth, this is a winning team. Arsenal is a winning side right now. So for me, there's no question that we can't do it. I mean, if you even look at the league table, we are widening the gap. We are extending it week on week, it seems like. Even if we get a draw to Sunderland, we're still leading the way by so much. We're allowing a little bit of space for mistakes, for draws and little slip-ups. But I don't really see that happening anytime soon, and I'm hoping it doesn't happen anytime soon. We're obviously 11 points ahead of Liverpool. We're 7 points ahead of City. We're 6 points ahead of Chelsea. And they're in second spot. So we've got 6 points between us and second spot. Our next game is Chelsea, and I feel like that is the big game because not only would it extend us by 9 points, I feel like it would give us that breathing space. We've got so much pressure on our shoulders right now because we're at the top. We're leading this race. So we've got a lot of pressure. But I feel like there's a few teams joining this race that you might not expect. If you do look at the league table, we've got even United climbing it. We've got Villa climbing it. Bournemouth. We've got teams, they're still quite far away from us, but they are climbing that league. So I think for us, we've just got to keep extending it. A lot does come down to the game on Sunday against Chelsea, which obviously I'll get into in the prediction section at the end of this episode. But I feel like the consensus from all Arsenal fans right now is this could be our year to win the Premier League. And if it's not now, I don't know when we're going to win the Premier League. Honestly, I feel like that is how I feel. So yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know if you think that Arsenal can win the league this season. And I think if we're still top if we can extend that by about 9-10 points at Christmas, this surely has got to be our year. That's what Liverpool did last season. So we're seeing these common themes. Everything Arteta and the squad and the staff have all worked towards has led to this moment. So I'm very, very excited. I feel like that was quite a motivational speech. I really hope I'm not proven wrong. I really hope that this ages well, what I'm saying, because it seems like it has to be our year. Obviously, I'd love to know your thoughts. If you weren't able to comment or vote in that poll on my Instagram story, then comment down on YouTube, or you can actually do it over on Spotify as well. I didn't even realise that, so that's quite cool. You can comment anywhere, basically. Just let me know your thoughts, because I'd love to hear it, especially if you don't support Arsenal as well. Like, realistically, I've been talking to a lot of fans, a lot of Chelsea fans, and they still have that bit of hope that they might be able to keep pushing up. City, they're like, yeah, we've got Haaland, we can do that. Liverpool, I think they're out the title race. Like, you know, they just want to come in a good spot to get European football next year. But I think, I want to know your thoughts, basically. So that's how we're starting off this episode. We're starting off this episode in a very good way. And you know what? The positive vibes are going to keep going, even though I'm wearing a hoodie. It's cold. I'm looking outside. It looks like it's about to start raining. Whatever the weather, it's going to be a very, very sunny news headline. So, yeah, let's get into that now. You know what? I think this is my favourite whatever the weather section that we've done over the last few weeks. Obviously, it's quite a new feature, which basically just looks at headlines, positive, negative, but instead of it being like, oh, this is a good headline, this is a bad headline, I've basically put it in like sunny, rainy, cloudy, because obviously whatever the weather is the quote from the Angel, which is played out at the start of every Arsenal game at the Emirates. So I was sort of, going along that theme. I feel like this has been a very, very good week. And why it's been my favourite is because I picked out 3 sunny headlines. I think carrying on the theme of having such a positive week, I just want this to be so positive. If you thought of any rainy headlines, feel free to comment them down below. I kind of want to keep it positive on this episode though. If you found any positive ones, obviously I'd love to hear them in the comments. But for me, the 3 I've gone with, the first one is Gabriel's Instagram photo. That's the headline. No, I'm joking. I'll explain it because I'm assuming most people, especially if you're an Arsenal fan, especially if you're a Spurs fan, actually, you've probably seen this. So after the North London derby victory for Arsenal, Gabriel went to Instagram, posted a photo of him in Eze's shirt with the Player of the Match trophy, and he tagged Richarlison, who obviously plays for Spurs. And he basically did that back in July, so it was calmer, and I just felt like it's such a positive way to start off the headlines because it's quite iconic, if I'm being honest. We all knew it was coming. Everyone knew it was going to happen. And it's just very funny that he took the first opportunity to do it. And honestly, what a win. He didn't even play, but I think the fact that he's taken all the headlines, he's taken my first sunny headline of the week, just proves how iconic it is, basically. The second thing is 42 teams have qualified for the World Cup, obviously happening in 2026. I'm not going to list off all the teams. I'm not going to list off all the Arsenal players, but there's a lot of Arsenal players. So I just wanted to update you on a few. Obviously, you've got Netherlands who have qualified, which means the likes of Timber will be going. England qualified, which means Rice, along with a few other players, will be going. And Spain also recently qualified, which means you've got the likes of Trossard will be going as well. So I feel like Arsenal have a lot of players representing their countries in the World Cup coming up, which I'm really excited about. I feel like it will be good to see lots of Arsenal players on the main stage, on the biggest stage, arguably, in football. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Obviously, I can give you an updated list in a few weeks' time, or actually, I think we'll know all the teams in a few months' time, around March, so then I can give you an updated vibe then, because there's going to be a lot of people representing their countries from Arsenal, so I'm very excited to see that. And the third one is sort of linked on the same vibe. We do have another international break for the women's side this week coming up, where 5 Gunners will represent England. Because I'm a Lioness fan and because I'm an Arsenal fan, I felt like it was the perfect sunny headline to conclude whatever the weather. We've got Russo, Mead, Kelly, Wiebenmoy and Hines all representing England this week coming. So on Saturday, we've got China, and on Tuesday, the following Tuesday, we've got Ghana. So I'm very excited to see how they do. I'm hoping they get a good amount of game time, but not enough where injury is on the rise, because these international breaks, they are disrupting the season quite a bit. And I know obviously the men are really happy we don't have another one till March. And obviously after this, it will be the same vibe for the women. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, I feel like it's been such a sunny week, and obviously it is because of the games. So before I carry on waffling about things off the pitch, let's look to the things on the pitch, and to be fair, what that means for Arsenal as a whole. Arsenal 2, Real Madrid 1. Let's get straight into the games. As always, this game section, I focus on 3 takeaways, because if I didn't, I'd be here all day. And I feel like the amount of positivity, I can't be smiling for that long, talking about every single little thing I learnt from each game. So yeah, let's focus on that first game in the Women's Champions League. I did predict it to be a 1-0 win, because I just felt like recently, and I said it a lot in last week's episode, I just was concerned that there wasn't any end product. Our build-up play was amazing. The way we can carry the ball, get around players, but possession doesn't get you points. And that's something that we kind of were learning a lot. And I feel like this week, we fully learnt that, and we managed to get it over the line with the win. It was obviously by 1 goal still, but it's the fact that we were able to score 2 goals that made me really hopeful about how the season can look. And I do feel like this is a bit of a turning point. It's the opposite experience to what we had last week, basically, where we took the lead, and then suddenly the comeback was mad from Bayern. Whereas this week, it seems like, okay, the comeback was mad from us. So it's just really great. And obviously, hats off to Russo for that. So the first thing, can I say this? I don't know if I can say this. I think we're back. I think we are back because things just seem to be slotting into place. Slagers is good because she's willing to rotate. She's willing to experiment with new players. And 2 players that I've said we need to be starting is Olivia Smith and Chloe Kelly. And Chloe Kelly, Olivia Smith finally started in this game. And I mean, honestly, the amount of crosses from Chloe Kelly, that is what she does best, because I think we notice a lot of crosses coming from forward. Unreal how Ford is always so determined down the line. But I always notice that they're kind of knee height, usually those crosses, whereas I think what Chloe Kelly does so well for both England and Arsenal is she loops the ball in, and I think you just can't replace that. I think that is such a good quality to have. No matter where she is on the pitch, she can get it in, and obviously that did result in the first goal by Russo, which, you know what, that is my second takeaway from the game. I feel like everyone just needs to take a step back and just give a moment for our saviour of this game, and to be fair, a lot of games this season, Russo. I feel like Russo, she gets credit, don't get me wrong, I've mentioned this before, she does get credit, but I don't think she gets enough credit for what she does off the ball. She's getting so much credit in the last week because of how she scored both goals and basically sealed us that win. But I think what she does off the ball, she's so hardworking. She's drawing defenders out so that other attacking players can drive in. I think all those little things people miss out on. But this week, we are going to have to focus on those goals because they were both unreal. The main one that I want to highlight is the one that put us ahead and ended up getting us those 3 points, which is so crucial because it's now boosted us up to 10th in the Champions League table, which you've got to be in the top 12 to get through to the next round. And I reckon if we win our next 2 games, we'll be all good in that top part. Maybe not qualifying straight to the quarterfinals, but at least progressing into the next round in a comfortable spot, which means you should get a better opposition, in my opinion. The goal that I want to focus on is that header. Honestly, when I say it was a rocket header, I feel like I've used that word quite a few times recently in this podcast. I've been, it was a rocket shot. It was this no word of a lie, this was a rocket header. The fact that it came from a corner, there's a lot of symmetry between Arsenal men and Arsenal women because we can both beat Real Madrid and we're both sort of known as Corner FC. And I'm actually happy with both of those things because it's getting us those points. And the ball came in, Russo found the net, and I just feel like even the celebrations, you could just tell the way Mariana Caldente jumped on Russo, the way the whole team huddled together, you can just tell what it means to these girls. And I feel like at Meadow Park, the fans always carry it. And yeah, the players just show up. Russo always shows up. This links nicely to my third takeaway. I want to spotlight another player that I feel like doesn't always get given the opportunity, but when she does, she takes it. And that has to be Lotte Wiebenmoy, because I know we're missing Leah Williamson, and she brings that organisation, she brings that defence and stability at the back. But Lotte Wiebenmoy had a defensive masterclass, and I feel like people need to focus on that. I love how Arsenal on their website also highlighted this one moment, which stood out in my head, which was when Lotte Wiebenmoy slide tackled Linda Caicedo, and that basically could have cost us the game. If she ended up carrying on going through, she probably would have scored, let's be real, because she is such a good player. So the fact that Lotte Wiebenmoy was able to stop that potential goal scoring opportunity, as well as so many other moments where she'd be passing the ball down the pitch, I just feel like she gets overlooked, and we really need to praise her because she's had big boots to fill in, especially with Katie Reid also going out as well. We've got 2 centre-backs that we normally would rely on. Not too much in terms of Katie Reid because obviously she's quite fairly new to the squad. But with Wiebenmoy, with Kat Lee at the back, I felt like we were safe. I felt like it was solid. So I just want to give her a shout out. So yeah, I feel like the vibes are very, very positive in terms of that first game. And yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts if you have anything else you'd want to add, any other takeaways from that game, because I do feel like this is a turning point for us. And yes, it wasn't the most convincing win with a 2-1. It was quite tight, but if you look at the game, we had a lot of opportunities, and I feel like it's good we're actually finalising it and being clinical with it, not just creating those opportunities. So yeah, what a way to start the week, and also what a way to end the week. Arsenal 4, Spurs 1. What a North London derby this was. You know what? I predicted it to be a 2-1 win because I thought going into it, if we drew, that would be a great outcome for Spurs and wouldn't be great for us. at all, because I just felt like we had to get the win. But it is a derby. You never know how it's going to go. And this rivalry has obviously gone on for years and years, decades, if you will. Like decades and decades and decades. So, yeah. Okay, I just want to get straight into the takeaways because I feel like there's so much to talk about and I'm probably going to miss out a lot. So if I do, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as always, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify. So the first one, which I'm probably going to end up naming this episode something to do with it because I feel like he is in the headlines. He is the moment, basically, and that is obviously Eze. It has all worked out for him. Let it all work out. That song is playing. I love the amount of memes that I'm seeing come out on Instagram, on TikTok, of every Spurs fan being like, when you open Instagram and suddenly Let It All Work Out starts playing. And it's just so funny because I feel like that is so true. That is literally what is happening. And as it should, because he is the first person to score a hat-trick in a North London derby for 47 years, since 1978. And it happens to be on his North London derby debut. That is insane. Imagine growing up supporting Arsenal and then suddenly you play in the North London derby for the first ever time and you get the first hat-trick for 47 years. It is actually crazy. You actually can't write this stuff. I'm just thinking about it and I actually can't think of a better narrative that has come out of Arsenal this season. I just feel like what has happened by him potentially going to Spurs, and then obviously that fell through. Arsenal snatched him last minute, and since he's been at Arsenal, he has been shining. He's been doing so well. So the fact that then he's gone against potentially a club that he could have signed for and scored 3 against them. And can I just say, every shot he takes could be a goal. He probably could have scored about 5 goals because there's just something about the way he strikes the ball with his laces. I'm like, who's going to save that? Even when the keeper gets a hand to it, it's in the net. So honestly, hats off. I feel like I could praise Eze for years and years and years because of what he's done at Arsenal already. So I'm just very, very excited for him. The second point, someone that also gets overlooked, but I have mentioned them quite a bit recently, is Trossard. He obviously found the net, and I feel like he is a player that needs more credit because he's saving us. He is saving us, and I don't think we realise until we look back at all the games when it's been like a 1-0 or a 2-1, how he has basically sealed the win for us. So I think, honestly, hats off to him. And the final one is, I love how Arteta is adapting. I think this game really proved it. We didn't have some big names. We didn't have Gyökeres. We didn't have Madueke. We didn't have Gabriel. We didn't have Jesus. We didn't have so many players. I feel like I could list so many. That's off the top of my head. Yet, did we actually need a striker in this game? I don't think we did. Because how he played Mourinho, he played him in his more comfortable role of an attacking midfielder, basically, because he was dragging out those defenders, which allowed for the likes of Eze to run past, the likes of Trossard to run past and then shoot because they'd have more space and more options. And I think how Arteta was able to use Mourinho, obviously full credit to Mourinho as well, but I just think it's so good what he's doing, and I think this is Arteta's year. Honestly, I think my camera's even had enough of me yapping about Arsenal. I feel like I could talk all day about Arsenal and how positive this week has been. But you'll notice, I mean, if you're listening on Spotify, ignore this. Doesn't make a difference to you lot. But if you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice that I had to put the graphic up towards the end of that last section because my camera just died on me. I feel like I've been talking for too long about Arsenal, so I'm going to try keep this last section quite brief. And to be fair, there's only 2 games to look ahead to because obviously the women are in their international break. So we have on Wednesday, Arsenal versus Bayern, 8 p.m. kickoff in the Champions League. Realistically, because they have the likes of Kane, who we know scores like there's no tomorrow for them. Like, he's breaking all the records. I feel like he's gained more respect since being in that league rather than representing Spurs, basically, which, I mean, to be fair, if I was him, I'd just be happy that I wasn't playing in that North London derby. I'm realistically going to go with a 2-2 draw. If I was thinking with my heart, I'd say 2-1, but I think realistically, we don't necessarily need to win this game, but we do need to get a draw. Like, if we lost this game, that wouldn't be good. But I think because of how the league format is with the Champions League, a 2-2 draw would be perfect for us, and it would mean that we can set up and provide the best players, all fully fit, for the game of the weekend, which is arguably the bigger game. It is Chelsea versus Arsenal on Sunday at 4:30 in the Premier League. We have to win this game because if Chelsea win it, or even if we draw it, we're just narrowing the gap with Chelsea. We're also narrowing the gap with then City and Liverpool. I mean, should I even mention Liverpool at this point? I feel like let's just focus on those three teams. So we have to win it. We know that Chelsea have a very young side. So later down the line, I don't know if they'll be able to cope with all the competitions they'll be in and everything. But I think right now, focusing on this game, we have to win it. I'm going to predict a 3-1 win. I think we can. I think we're going to go in the mindset that we have to win this game because we want to extend our lead. And honestly, if we do, surely it's got to be our year. Surely this has to be our year if we do that. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, I feel like this has been a very, very good uplifting episode. If you're an Arsenal fan, I really, really hope you've watched to the end and you've enjoyed this because, I mean, what's there not to love? What's there not to enjoy? Because Arsenal are doing so well. Yes, it's raining outside, but we've had so many sunny headlines this week. So yeah, it's just great time. And if you want to join me in this community, if you haven't already, and you're watching YouTube, hit subscribe. It's free. You don't need to pay anything. And you'll be contributing to an Arsenal fan. And honestly, if you're an Arsenal fan as well, we've got to stick together. Same goes for Spotify if you want to give me a follow over there. No pressure whatsoever. And obviously, as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything specifically about this podcast. If you like any features, if you think some features could do some improvements, I'm all here for the feedback. But also, I want to focus on Arsenal a lot this week, next week, last season, this season, whatever you want to talk about, I want to hear it. Men's, women's, tell me all. Yeah, I guess that's all. I am really excited because I have a Arsenal Humans fan zone out on Friday, and my guest, he's probably one of the most knowledgeable Arsenal fans I know. So yeah, I'm very excited to hear it, but also I'm excited to hear his journey into not only working as a fan, but why even is he an Arsenal fan? That's obviously the root of all those Arsenal Human Fan Zone episodes. And to be fair, they come out every other Friday, so there's so many future episodes that are yet to happen. So let me know down in the comments as well who you want to see on the next Arsenal Humans Fan Zone episode, and I will see what I can do to make it work. But yeah, for now, that is all I have to say. It's been a very good week for Arsenal. Stay tuned for the Fan Zone on Friday, and then hopefully next Tuesday I'll have another positive episode after another positive week for Arsenal. Let's manifest that one.